virtual campfire, but the first one on the Xscapers Facebook page. We're really excited for the show tonight. We've got some fun stuff planned for you guys. But if you don't know who we are, I'm Melanie Carr, Vice President of Xscapers RV Club and co-founder of Xscapers.
And I'm Travis Carr, the President of Xscapers RV Club. So yeah, we're looking forward to tonight. Should be a good time. Before we get started, though, with our community members here that are going to be joining us soon, just a little quick reminder as to what we're doing and what virtual campfires are and what you can kind of expect over the next couple of weeks every time we do this.
So the virtual campfires were a project that was kind of in the works before all of the coronavirus stuff started, and the timing of the launch couldn't have been better since we unfortunately have had to cancel a lot of our events going through June up to the Escapade. So it really is a way for us to build this community online and still be able to interact with you guys, for you guys to interact with each other in the comments, and just bring everything together. And so for the next several months into the distant future, we're going to be doing these every other week. They will alternate pages between the Xscapers page and the Escapees page on Facebook, and they'll have a rotating variety of topics. There'll be interviews, community members, entertainment, activities, stuff like that.
Yep. So tonight we have 6 other people that are going to join us from the community, and 2 staff members, obviously, as well. Brandon Krenz are going to join us as kind of co-hosting this thing. So we're just going to really chat, kind of have some informational topics, some general topics, and then along the way, hopefully, share some good educational and information as well.
Yeah.
So
let's bring them on.
Yeah, help us out, Brandon. He's our MC of this whole program.
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. Well, welcome, guys. How are you doing?
Good.
We're doing
Great. Thanks.
Awesome. As you guys know, Brandon and Corinza, they work for Xscapers RV Club. They are marketing and brand directors, and they're going to be kind of co-hosting the show with us tonight, but also sharing their story. As you know, they're full-time RVers, and they have a lot of education they can share with you guys. And then we have Eric and Jeannie. And they've been community members. They have a fun story I'm going to make them tell you guys in a little bit, but they've been community members for a very long time, and they attend a lot of our events. And then we have Amanda and Kendra.
Heyo.
Hey. And I'm sure their son Clark is somewhere there in the background.
Watching a movie.
You're not alone there. Our little ones are in the living room and in their room watching TV as well. So if they come running in, we'll just have to deal with it like everybody else. No worries. So to kind of get started here, let's kind of start with Brandon Krenza, since you're kind of co-hosting. We'd love to hear we know your story. You kind of have a cool one since you're now obviously marketing director and brand director. But before that, you were community members. So kind of would love to hear this transition, kind of how you got into the lifestyle and how you ended up here today co-hosting this.
Yeah, sure. How we got into RVing, really, it was, we were, like a lot of us, working full-time corporate jobs, doing all of that. What are you doing, Brandon? And we really just found that we really preferred being on the road. When we were taking trips, that's when we were happiest. So it started kind of going in our minds that we could go full time. We could do this thing if we just took our jobs as consultants instead and worked from the road.
Yeah, we were like the very stereotypical, did the corporate grind and then gave it all up to hit the road. Yeah. And, it was super scary at first, but our first stop was Livingston, Texas, to become a Xscapers member 6 years ago.
And Texas residents. That was the first thing that we did. We drove down there. So we were members for around a year, and then you guys launched Xscapers. So
we were lucky. We happened to be in the right place at the right time, and these 2 kids in this Airstream pulled in and started talking about Xscapers, and so we're like, sure, we'll go to the Balloon Fiesta and see what this thing's all about.
And then here we are.
We just started going to junkies, and then we're like, we'll do whatever you want. Let us help you out.
And then we suckered them into paying us to do it.
Yeah.
You convinced us that, I guess they won't work for free. I guess we'll have to bring them on.
Pay them in campground sites because they like to boondoggle.
That's funny. Awesome. Well, cool. Do you want to move on to kind of just do some quick introductions real quick, and then we'll kind of just start it more into a conversation. That way we're not bouncing all over the place.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
sound good to you?
sounds good. Hey guys, there they are. So we met Eric and Jeannie in person back at the Joshua Tree Convergence, which was, man, it feels like a million years ago now, but
So long ago.
yeah, we thought we were putting together a small get together for the people that were going to Coachella with us, and then we ended up having almost 40 RVs out there at Joshua Tree. And then they told us this funny story. So I'll hand it over to you guys if you want to give a little history about your RVing and your experience with the Xscapers RV Club.
Oh, well, I don't know. I'm just sort of wondering about the funny story we told you, because that...
I think it's funny.
So I don't want to
how long you guys have been...
She didn't give you the show notes for
I guess
this.
it
You
is.
guys,
I'm referring to how long you guys have been in the Xscapers RV Club.
That's what I thought, but I didn't want to like reveal like some dark secret that.
Tell us anything you want. We're here to learn.
Well, we started RVing together back in what, 1992, 93, something like that. And about that time, we joined the Xscapers RV Club. So our Xscapers number is only 5 digits compared to many others who have their 6 digits. And we just sort of rub it in every now and then, like we've been for a long time. But yeah, it's
our rig was a little different then. It was a like $1,000 VW camper van.
Yeah.
At the time, and it was all we could afford. We were right out of college, and but my parents were Xscapers, and they said, "Oh, you need to join this club. There's a lot of cool stuff." So we're like, "Okay,
okay."
So you have an RV now, so we did, and it was a long time ago.
Hey, well, we're happy to have you, and we've run into them many times around the campfire, the real campfire, not the virtual campfire. Late at night. So yeah, you guys are awesome in the community and been really involved from the beginning. So I think things assumed were way different after Xscapers creation versus when you first joined the club.
Oh yeah.
Oh, quite a bit.
I think our newsletter was like, I don't know, 8.5, 5.5, fold and a half, one color, like maybe off a copy or something at the time. Now it's a little different, the newsletter.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, very cool. Well, cool, man. Well, we'll bring you guys back on here in just a second. We're going to move on to the next introduction. Get these out of the way.
There they are.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
So Amanda and Kendra, we met them a few years ago at the annual bash, and now we've kind of sucked them in, and they've gone to a lot of events since then, but we look forward to seeing them every year at annual bash. Do you guys want to share a little bit about your history with RVing?
Sure. So we started hitting the road. We sold our house in Dallas, and we started traveling in October of 2017. And we pretty much right out of the gate, so in that January is when we attended our first annual bash, so that was 2018. So we've been to 3 bashes now and a couple of convergences, but that's how we were just tired of the rat race, probably like many others, and we wanted to sell our house high, but not buy a house high. And so we decided that since our son was just turned 3 at the time, we said, well, he's not going to be starting school for a couple of years, and let's just hit the road. Well, since then, we've been converted over to homeschooling, and we're not ready to give it up yet. So that's how long we've been on the road and been basically Xscapers since the beginning. And we stumbled into it because of the mailing service through Xscapers. So that's kind of how we all got started.
Yeah, you're not alone there. That's for sure. That's the gateway drug, as they say, into the club. So
yeah, it's so like, if anybody doesn't have the mail forwarding service, like it's so effortless and easy, and we just love it. We tell people that all the time. Like when you're getting started and you need someplace to have a residence or have your mail sent to, it's awesome. So
Eric and Jeannie, they got the show notes to promote the mail service, so just saying.
Sorry.
Just totally kidding. Well, cool. Well, we're glad to have everybody on here, and we'll bring everybody in kind of now, and we'll just see where this goes, I think, and kind of have fun with it along the way. That's kind of the hope. We're here to have campfire conversation. So let's see how this works out for the first time ever.
Well, let's kind of go into where is everybody right now. We've kind of put a lot of calls to action out there about everything that's surrounding the coronavirus, and we've really urged our members to stay in place. But I know Eric and Jeannie, you guys were just in Mexico. So what's your situation like right now? Where are you guys?
We just actually crossed the border today, and we had come up from Mulahey, and that is, I don't know, it took us a good 3 days, of, a couple 3 hours driving each day to get back up across the border. And basically, everyone down there, they're doing their part. They really are trying really hard to, make sure that everyone is safe. And they have been closing beaches. They have closed stores, except for, the essential businesses.
They're not letting anybody go south. They let us go because we were going north, but they were stopping everybody going south because they're trying to keep it isolated, I guess. Right. But we were down there with other Xscapers as well. So Will, Val, and Shakira were there, and we were visiting Jamie and Scott and in Mulahey. And there were lots of other Xscapers there, but they had all left slowly, and we were the last group to leave. Mm-hmm. And then, so we were supposed to make it to Yuma, but we never made it to Yuma yet. We were still in El Centro. Because we looked at the clock and we're like, we're not going to make it there in time. We better just do it here.
So did you smuggle anything back across the border?
Just a little bit of toilet paper. Yeah. Kind of important.
Maybe a little more than a little bit.
Maybe a little more, yeah.
You don't want people to come raid you, or what?
We're not telling anybody where we're at in Yuma.
Oh, we lost Travis and Mel. Well, we'll take over until they come back. I don't know what happened to them. So, go.
Yeah. But I assume, because you were in Mexico, but you didn't want to ride out the whole wave there, so you're kind of headed somewhere else.
So it was actually it's hit there, like the stress of the situation has hit there a lot later, so they're just starting to feel it. And so we were starting to feel like, we probably shouldn't. I mean, we felt really safe down there when we were down there, but we're starting to feel like we didn't want to take resources away from actual, Mexicans that might need it. Yeah. So it's time to come back. And maybe get a little closer to our parents who are obviously older, and so if something were to happen, we could get there quicker, that sort of thing. But
our ultimate destination is going to be my parents' farm in central Washington, where neighbors are nowhere nearby, and it'll be good for us because we can help our parents. We can teach them, how to do curbside pickup at Walmart, those kinds of things. So we need to help them out with that kind of stuff and anything around the house that they might need help with instead of hiring someone.
We have good skills of being isolated and that sort of thing.
Well, that's interesting. So, how does everybody feel like RVing has helped them through the situation? How are you guys holding up in general? Is everybody staying sane? Are you all alcoholics now?
I think it's a lot like part of our life. We just don't normally do it this many days in a row is the big difference, but we definitely have done, this sort of thing just normally in regular life. And so, all those skills come handy now because we know how to do things like curbside pickup at Walmart. We know how to find a spot where nobody's around and that sort of thing.
Right.
I think for us, it's a little weird because we work from home, we live in home, we're always together, so that hasn't really changed. Yeah. And we're in a big enough RV lot here that we can go out and the park is, we can walk around the park, so that's fine. When you get in the car, then all of a sudden everything changes. Or when I want a pizza, it's like, a bigger decision now.
Yeah.
We're thinking about what that whole thing of most reviewers were thinking about what's next, where are we going? Yeah. And I get this point, that's not really on the table. How long we're staying here.
Yeah. What's next? When's it going to be 110 in Yuma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I've
Amanda
actually
and Kendra.
enjoyed-
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I've actually enjoyed that, like, because obviously we've been doing this for so long that we've gotten some of our family or friends on board with some of these virtual apps like Zoom or even just Marco Polo or something like that. But this is like really forcing the people who were just like, oh, I don't want to do that. Can I just call you? Or we just will get together. I mean, we spent all weekend, when I say all weekend, talking to people through Zoom. This was how we hung out this past weekend, catching up with friends we hadn't for in months. And I've actually, so the benefit of this has been that it's really forced others to like get on virtually. And that's going to benefit us as we continue RVing and being able to interact with our friends and family.
Yeah, that's a really awesome perspective. And I know it's been talked about kind of behind the scenes amongst our own internal staff and things too, and just community and friends is, what happens after this is all said and done, now that so many people are experiencing remote work life or have, forced into this, what does that mean for the future? Does it mean potentially more RVers, or does it just mean more remote workers? Like, how does this potentially lead into the future of kind of where we go from here now that people are exposed to this kind of remote work
it goes for employees and employers. A lot of employers didn't know that, or they were very resistant to the idea of having people work from home. And now they're forced into it, and they see there are all these tools out there. People can be productive at home. So I think it's definitely been an eye opener all across for everybody.
Yeah, people may want to travel in the comfort of their own RV and not packed into an airplane full of people. So
yeah.
It'd be good. Yeah, I know when we were, we do a lot of boondocking and stuff too, but as this was kind of coming on, we were like, we should get to a park. So we kind of rushed over to one of the co-op parks to get in just in case, and that turned out to be a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to have, although we can always fill up with water when we're boondocking and we can turn on our water heater, it's nice to have unlimited hot water at this point in time. I'm washing my hands.
Yeah.
Well, washing your hands when you're boondocking, conserving water that's a little tricky.
Yeah. That's when you just don't go out, because that's the only way you just don't go out.
Oh, you're good inside. Yeah.
And Amanda and Kendra, we were talking to you guys earlier, and you were saying you kind of have like this little compound going on where you guys are at. Sounds pretty cool. Like you have built a community there of people that have stayed put for the past several weeks, and you're kind of all in this together. So it's nice to see that the community is coming together and watching out for each other. The owner of that park has made sure that you guys are safe and have a place to stay. That's just incredible to hear these days with all the negativity that's going around. So
yeah, it's been a blessing for sure, and the experience has been more comfortable just because we do have a bit of our normalcy still. I mean, of course, we're still practicing like social distancing and things, but there is a bit of a commune happening here, so it's been fun.
I also think that we have a sense, may it be false or not, but we have a sense of security out here because we're in Marathon, Texas. And right now this county, and I've been tracking it every day, but this county has no known or reported coronaviruses. And up until yesterday, even all the adjacent counties didn't have any. One just popped up nearby. And so when I had to run into the grocery store, and unfortunately we have a cat that's diabetic, so we had to go get insulin too. Nonetheless, I wore a mask and the gloves, and I felt very odd because we've kind of had this like strange sense of security being in our little commune out here. But we've also felt good about just knowing that right now there aren't any cases out here. So being an RVer, we were able to find a location to get out of it instead of being like if we were still in Dallas or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you stay put there because it's the place to be and all that too,
Absolutely.
which is what we've been advocating. If you missed, I don't know if you guys saw the last virtual hangout when this kind of all really hit hard, and we put out a lot of policies and updates. And even since then, 2 weeks ago, things have changed so much. But there is one common kind of thread here, and that is the park closures going on. And everybody here so far, from my understanding, has a place to kind of hunker down at this point in time, and kind of a game plan. But there's those that don't. And with every parks closing at the rate they are, we have created a grassroots campaign and a call to action to contact legislators and You can find all this information at xscapers.com/coronavirus. So for those of you that are just tuning in or haven't heard, please join it. Go visit the website, learn more. There's too much to talk about now, and that's not the purpose of this conversation, but just real quickly wanted to hit on it. So
yeah, I see a comment in the comments here from Lisa. They had a really nice, big, pretty fifth wheel, and they just recently downsized into the little 25-footer. And yeah, it's got to be tough when you were used to that big fifth wheel. Like right now is the time when it's like, yeah, I wish our RV was just a little bit bigger. Yeah. Most of the time, I love the size of it, but right now it's like,
even though we're in it all the time, somehow we're still stir crazy in it at the same time. And I'm going to do my little marketing thing, but to help out, if you want to go learn more, get some scripts to talk to your representatives or email them, you can go to xscapers.com/keep parks open, and that's with little dash in between, the keep and parks and open. So please go.
It takes a village to make a change, so we really need you guys to help out where possible. Take some time, make those calls, write some letters. Anything you can do is helpful to the entire RVing community at this point in time.
Yeah, and it's kind of, you guys talk about your RV and your size and stuff, and Lisa, who are in a much smaller RV than they used to be. Even us in our house, we are, we don't full-time, we're not full-time RVers. We do RV as much as we can, which I think is ironic, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But even in our house, we go absolutely crazy. The kids are home from school, we're trying to do work, especially through all this. And there's just something about the ability to not go out and do the things you want to do when you want to do it. And it doesn't matter how small or big, it's just the reality of it. And it just has a toll, I think, on everybody, and why what we're doing right now is so important, just to interact and, feel a little bit of connection goes a long ways. So, but.
Absolutely. Yeah. As soon as you're told no, it's like, oh, I have it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're missing being able to take the Horizon out. Like,
Well, so that's what's ironic is, so we stopped traveling as much as we did because our oldest son, Gabe, who's now 8, started public school because we tried the homeschool thing, failed miserably, unlike y'all. We just totally bombed that. Yeah. Wasn't going to happen. He was not having it.
It's still, now we are teachers again, and it is very difficult, especially since everybody in Xscapers, bless our staff, workload has been very, very big lately. So on top of keeping up with all of the issues that our RVers are facing, all of our normal workload, we're also having to homeschool Gabe again. So it's been a difficult transition for us. But
and the worst part is, like we were saying, is now that we're home, we have to homeschool anyway. We still can't RV. So it's like, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and not being full-timers, obviously, we don't want to go take spots from people who need them. So there's a lot of issues compiled into one, but I will feel a lot better when we all can come out of this on the other side.
Yeah.
Yes. I think related to what you were saying about how industry was wondering how the teleworking thing is going to work, kind of moving forward, remote working. I think this is either going to really force someone to say, oh my goodness, I can never go back into the office again after experiencing it. I also think, I know you got a call from your best friend this weekend, and I think there's a lot of oh my, I can never do this. I cannot wait for this to end. So I think it's going to literally just polarize, split the divide.
You're definitely right there. I mean, we've worked with people that are absolutely not good at remote working. It's just not, and they have to have the internet. We have friends who are in Austin who has been offered several remote working jobs, and she refuses to take them simply because she needs that interaction and that way to do it. So there's definitely people, regardless of the job, can be remote, that just can't. It's just not their, what they desire, for sure. But it'll be interesting. But that kind of leads us into kind of curious, kind of how this has affected anybody's workload. You guys out on the road, has it changed anything with your work situations, or things kind of stayed the same, or how are things going on that front?
I mean, our bosses won't leave us alone.
I mean,
coming up with more things that have to go out. Tell the members this, tell the members that.
But they talk a big game, but what they're not sharing is most of that workload is their own fault, because they're the ones that present the ideas. So.
Oh
see an interloper back there. Oh, he left.
Oh my gosh, it was so fast.
Yeah, so my workload, I mean, it really hasn't changed. I've had a lot of, so I'm an environmental engineer. I clean up contaminated sites, and I've had to do a lot of juggling with like team members that were going to be out in the field doing sampling, and we've been having to like rearrange when we're going to do that because of shelter in place rules, or having people coming in because we travel all over the United States and trying to find more local staff, things like that, that affect some of our employees that we've been trying to find some office work for and get them out of the field. But myself, I mean, it really hasn't changed for me at all. And which is, I knock on wood, I'm glad to say that that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it hasn't really changed for me either. I'm a web developer, and I'd say, you know, I've had probably like half the clients just disappeared and don't answer emails anymore. But I'm hoping temporarily. But the other half decided, hey, this is a good time to tackle web online projects. So the other half is like filled the gap. So it's
okay.
You know, I've adapted, but the workload's about the same. So.
Yeah, but and that's kind of interesting because I mean we've done a lot of the same with our own projects. We've seen like we've rotated out our a lot of our staff at headquarters that are in person, rotate them out, and there's like our IT department, for example, they rotate days so they're not interacting with each other, which gives them the opportunity to do a lot of these projects, you know, that were really time consuming, that were kind of later in the year. They just kind of took on now because they're at home, you know, just doing their thing, programming versus you know, all the other day-to-day operations that are kind of on their plate normally. So
a lot of stuff they're putting off, they've now suddenly like, hey, I have time to do it.
Yep. I saw in the comments, Bill Trinkle said Porter's business is booming. She works with a lot of remote education companies. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. That's got to be a big one right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to figure out how to do that. Like you guys.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can you come do a webinar for us and like show us how we're supposed to be doing this?
Yeah.
Duct
If anybody's
tape.
looking for a teaching job at all, we're hiring.
Just duct tape. Buy like stash and duct tape and tape them down. Tape their mouth.
Okay, that's where my mind went, but I wasn't sure that's like what parents would say. But
oh yeah, totally. That's what we do. Don't report us to CPS, please.
Another one of the people watching, Anne said Brian is just as busy as he's been because he's expecting she keeps expecting it to change, but it doesn't seem to affect it. But he's in IT risk management, so.
But just to not all be, you know, too upbeat about it, we do know some a few RVer friends where freelance work is just dried up.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they had plans to start a business, or they worked in events, just like, you know, our events aren't necessarily going on right now, then the events they were working on weren't necessarily going on. So it's tough. And my dad's company, he actually works with hospitals, and they've had hospitals that are about ready to open, and all of a sudden they have to rush them open. So it's like this crazy mix of just chaos.
Paul said, Paul and Tiffany, that their business has slowed down drastically.
Laura said, you know, I noticed this being in a co-op park that retirement slowed down a bit because all the social activities are just stopped, you know, and so, you know, it's not exactly what they were looking forward to probably, but
but with that being said, though, I mean, this is kind of the community where, you know, to throw your products and what you do out there and kind of, you know, ask the community to show support. And we would ask, you know, that if you can show support to your community members and your fellow RVers, and, you know, try to help them out through this too, if you can, obviously. And, you know, we're all in this together. That's kind of what we're here for and what we're built on. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Just if it drags on, because I always wonder once I finish all those projects they've been sitting on, what happens then? So, because we never really know when this ends. So,
right.
Exactly. You're trying to plan for something where you have no sense of time on. It's not like you do a seasonal job where, okay, this season is not the high season, so I have to plan for those routes. But
which is kind of funny because as nomads, we kind of thrive on like oh, the flexibility and all that. But when it's forced on you, suddenly it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What do you know what's going to happen in 6 months or even next month?
Yeah, it's.
Sorry, our awning was about ready to go blow off, so I had to.
What, RV life?
I have Amanda over here going like this, and Winnie like, it's gonna blow away. Oh, you guys are all RVers. You know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, we all know that one. I do think, like you're saying, Eric, too, it's just funny, like, as much as I think a lot of us are non-planners anymore, like, not being able to have any kind of plan, like, is like not settling. It's very weird.
It's weird because it's a big part of our life, and it's like, it's cool that we don't have to worry about that at the moment. We can do other things, but there's no other things to do.
Yes.
So. We're in Yuma, the 2 things to do here are closed. And
I can totally get it. I think everybody's in the same boat in some fashion or another, right? I mean, that's kind of
Yeah. So outside of Zoom, just in kind of talking about how to entertain yourselves, Amanda and Kendra, sorry, our kid is just running in circles, it sounds like, and yelling.
I mean, our interrupted for one food, so,
but you guys said you were kind of keeping up with family over the weekends with virtual activities. How is everybody else doing this? Are there any other platforms you've been using other than Zoom that we can share with the community?
Marco Polo.
Yeah, Marco Polo.
Okay.
I mean,
that's a great app, and we started that a while back.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know what Marco Polo is, it's essentially, and at first I was kind of like, well, I could take a video and send it via text message. What's the big deal? But actually, it makes it a lot faster. So, like when you have limited cell signal, it goes through a lot easier. But honestly, just we like to use it because it's a video app that, or you can send photos or whatever. But I use it with my family, and you've got a whole bunch of chain with friends and stuff like that. So Marco Polo and Zoom have been our big keep in touch.
yeah.
cool.
Haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, I haven't heard it either.
oh yeah, we're on it. It's I'll get on it, but yeah, it's like, you know, you're sending each other a text message, but it's a video.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we haven't used it. I did ask my brother to join, but he hasn't yet. But some other Xscapers, basically.
I use it with my mom, but
videoing them.
she still thinks it's kind of like live video, so she's kind of just talking to it like I'm there, but I'm not.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Reminder, it's like, yeah, it's like every other text message you send me, it'll be 2 to 10 days before I reply. She understands better now.
It's nice too because, you know, if your video via text is too long, it sometimes won't even send. It wants to send it through the cloud, or these you can ramble on and tell somebody your whole day if you feel like it. And
I'll do that.
no.
Hey, there's a little button on the bottom that says 2x. It can make someone go twice
Really
as
fast.
I was just gonna ask, is there like a you know, I read this checkbox, like where you can just get in and be like, all right, it's already in.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
totally
Yes.
heard it.
Yeah, you can fast forward people. It's awesome.
Well, the nice thing right now is your entire day consists of 3 things, so it's like
Right. I know. Luckily, you know, I've been countering this. You know, we started like exercising a little more, like walking more and doing things, just because we're so bored. But at the same time, we're also eating more and drinking more. So it's like, well,
Yeah.
That's, we've been eating healthier, I think, because
Really?
you know, it's like getting snacks. You go through them so quickly, you have to hit the store again. So since we haven't been going to the store, we've been buying more like basic ingredients, and so we've been eating actually a lot healthier, I think.
Yeah.
I
We
stress
miss
fake.
our.
It's not been good. I stress fake.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a bunch of desserts in this house.
She's
I
saying like Oreos are like the real MVP here. Like, you could just have a bag of Oreos. You just walk by them and grab an Oreo, and you just.
Yeah.
We have excuses though. We have kids. They have to have snacks to be entertained.
Yeah, I think.
Is that what you talking about when you're ordering food?
Yeah. I will say though, we miss going out, like, because was a stress release for us. Like throughout the week, after a long work day, we'd be like, let's go get margaritas and Mexican food, and now it's like, oh man, we're like fending for ourselves.
The Mexican food, like, it's killing me not getting Mexican food like we used to. Left, like delivery Mexican food is not.
No.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it's like a delivery burger.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I was gonna say for families out there, one thing my mom, because my mom lives 15 minutes down the road from us, so we're used to seeing her a lot throughout the week, especially the kids. She'll just come over and hang out with them, and so they've missed that personal interaction. So there's an app out there called Caribou, which is free until I think the end of May because of all the families that are staying home. And she gets on there with Gabe and she plays games with him, reads books to him and stuff. So it's a cool little activity for kids to do with their grandparents, relatives.
Is that where they're like they can play like tic-tac-toe on the same screen? Like they have their own.
They can draw pictures together. It's pretty cool.
Well, that's cool. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what like.
Something I just thought was funny. The common theme he hears is get out of the fridge. You weren't hungry. You're bored.
Yeah.
I guess I've been working remotely long enough now. I've broken that habit of because the last 25 years I've lived with the fridge right by my desk, so I can't think of that habit.
We just want to have
the same way, but still, it's just I don't know. There's just something about it's a good excuse.
Yeah. Another thing we did with friends is we did like an online poker game. So this is one site. It's called Donk House. Yeah. And, it's an online poker game.
Travis is out.
But we would play poker online, and then we'll use Zoom to run it in the background. And the other thing that all the nerdy kids are doing these days is playing D&D online, and there's ways to do that. So we've, Chuck from the Status Crows, he's like the professional GM now, and he has to run all the games. But I think Jeff Orr is running games now. Mm-hmm. I run a game occasionally, but I haven't really stuck with it. But yeah, it's fun to do something else.
Yeah. I mean, you said Chuck, so I'm just gonna throw it out there too. Like, how fun has it been to have the live entertainment and for those guys to come on and play for us in the community and have something to entertain us on our Saturdays?
That's amazing. Awesome. Yeah. Is it this Saturday they're back?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said their gigs pretty much dried up because can't really be in public. So
yeah. And our awesome event directors, man, have they pivoted? JP, David, and Cheryl, they've really stepped up and worked with our marketing team to get some online entertainment going for you guys outside of the virtual campfires with those live music, happy hours, games, everything you can think of. So kudos.
We've had a few people on here too say house party. Like I guess a house party app. I don't know this one.
Yeah, playing games on house party.
And there's just a few people.
Well, now I gotta take some
all
notes.
Need to check it out. Yeah.
I'm gonna stay muted for a little bit just because our kid went to the bathroom and is needing assistance.
We should start a Facebook thread. I'm going to say this, and it's magically going to happen through the powers of the internet. But we should start a Facebook thread of like, what things are you doing online, like games and stuff, so people can get it captured in one place, so we can see. Because we have nieces and nephews and stuff that we'd like them to remember our faces when they finally do see us again.
Yeah,
right.
That's what Zoom has been. And thank goodness, when I was back visiting family and Thanksgiving, my mom needed a new phone, so I got her an Apple phone so we can FaceTime, and that's why I see my nephews over there now. It's been good. Yeah. Of course, they wake me up very early. Like they're over there, 3 hours ahead.
Time zone.
Yeah.
Teach your kids time zones, people.
Is that a lesson that we should?
Yes. Tomorrow's lesson is called time zones and daylight savings time.
Do you want to teach it, Brandon? You're a great teacher.
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna make it complicated like we did today, driving through 3 time zones in one day, and you have to calculate what Central Time is, where you are.
That's why I just always say Central Time, no matter where I am. Like it's Central Time. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what is everybody looking forward to the most? Once you finally get to your wheels spinning and rolling again to somewhere new and back to regular life, what is kind of
Just to get away from
Are we even that far ahead in our minds?
You gotta be thinking of something like, man, I really miss this place or something.
Maybe space from Jeannie. I don't know.
Feels mutual.
Well, while you guys are thinking of your great ideas, how about the chat too? What are you guys looking forward to? After this, and
Real
where you plan on
hugs.
going? Yeah, real
I
hugs.
totally agree with that.
That is a good one.
Oh yeah.
I've
Traveling.
forgotten a lot of people. Hugs.
I
Real
don't.
hugs.
Yeah, I don't like people touching me, so I'm not missing that. I'm actually like, no.
Everybody hug Brandon when you see
Yeah.
him. Everybody.
No, I want to make a shirt that says I'm not social distancing. I just don't like you.
I love it.
I'm looking forward to my stockpiles of toilet paper and hand sanitizer in my undisclosed location.
This is where our brand director drops the mic and goes, "Yep."
I like Tim's answer. It says not cooking. I think that's something going out. We're gonna go to a Mexican restaurant, right?
Yeah.
I will say we were saving money though.
We have saved so much money. I mean, we could go out to dinner in Mexico. It's like
that's what we were just saying. We were like, man, we have saved some money though.
I've been putting a lot of money over into savings, and it's been very nice.
The best part about being in Mexico is you can go out to eat for almost as much as you can make something, but we couldn't do any of that. So,
Yeah.
like, we're not even here.
What's terrible is like gas is $2 a gallon and we can't go anywhere.
yeah.
Right.
Like as soon as this is over, gas is going back to $5.
That's why gas is $2 a gallon right now.
Right.
But there's all those memes that are like, I'm getting 30 days to the gallon right now.
Yeah. I think
Laura
one of the
said she's looking
things
to
though
Escapees events. I agree with you there as well. We're very excited to get back to a little regular social once it's can happen. But we're very much missing the community in person too. So.
Yeah, canceling Xscapade was a big heart punch because that's the one big reunion we look forward to every year. So that not being able to do that in June is going to be really hard for us.
Yeah.
So looking forward to 2021.
Yeah, this really rerouted our schedule because we have been trying to get to the Northwest. Believe it or not, though, we've been on the years, over 2.5 years now. We have not gotten to Oregon or Washington, and it's because of my work. I have to be stationary between Monday through Friday, so we move on the weekends. So we just can't chug through. So it takes a while to get someplace, and then not only that, but balancing the cost to get from my family in St. Louis or her family in Houston, which is, kind of the place that we kind of always circle back to. It takes a while. So we actually were supposed to already be in Houston visiting her family. We were going to touch base with my family in St. Louis and then head northwest. But with this drawing out, it's going to take it into the summer and it's going to make it not worth it because we're not going to be able to haul it up there in time to really enjoy the Northwest. And we were going to do the 4th of July Escapees get together there in Colorado, and just with Xscapers, with however long this is dragging out, it's probably not going to be that because we really are. When you have a kid, all of a sudden your parents are like, we don't really miss you per se, but we've got to see our kids. We get a lot of pressure about when you coming home.
It's changed our plans a bit, but I mean, we're excited. I think just to kind of get rolling like everybody else here, right? Everybody's wanting to be able to plan out again and do the norm for full-time travelers, but and even some of the part-time people, you've scheduled your plans out for the summer and it's all just up in limbo. So I think everybody's ready for the shoe to fall and us be able to get back to normal again. But so hopefully we'll catch up with some convergences once we can get back in and doing those again and seeing all our Xscaper family and regular family too.
Nice. And so speaking of the 4th of July, somebody in the chat Debbie asked, what's the status of Salida? So we are working behind the scenes every single day, checking on the status of these events, making decisions. So those conversations are taking place, and as soon as we have information, we will let the ticket holders and even the general public know. So be on the lookout in the coming weeks for any changes to those events. We're taking it day by day right now, and it's rapidly changing.
But do know that that if it gets canceled, postponed, whatever, anything changes, or if it's just simply obviously unsafe to do the event, that you will get a full refund. So we're going to take care of you. This isn't a
breaks our heart to have to do it, but we would never do wrong by the community, and we hope that as soon as it's safe to get back together, we will do so as soon as possible.
Yeah, I know, Brandon Kinsey, you guys were working on this trailer project, which was an interesting timing. But,
we got a really cool event trailer. It's parked in Congress right now, just collecting dust. So,
But on top of that, I know you guys worked really hard on that project to make it happen, and kind of delayed seeing your family, and then all this hit, and it kind of really made it hard to get back and figure out what your game plan is. So
it's weird. Our goal was kind of go to Xscapade and then start heading east and visit the family, but they're in densely populated areas, and where my parents are, there's nowhere, like, they don't have a site we could put the RV. So then it's like, can we stay in an RV park? How long can we stay? Should we stay? So it's kind of like, I guess we're gonna see you on Zoom for a while. And even the years when we can't get back, we normally fly back, but we're not doing that either. So it's a bit strange. But back to what you were saying earlier, it has gotten us all to talk a lot more. I'm doing Marco Polo with my mom. We're going to do Zoom with the whole family, especially my grandmother, because she's 86 and she's got a little bit of dementia. So she's having a hard time processing all this. She doesn't quite get it all. She just knows she's trapped in her room, and she can't get her hair done. And I know a big part of her getting her hair done is seeing other people and talking to other people. So I'm like, why don't we get on Zoom? Like, my aunt's there. Like, let's all get together, at least so you can see each other's faces. I think that'll help. So I think it's getting everybody kind of communicating where maybe we wouldn't before. So
I think that's true. It's what. Go ahead.
I was just saying, my parents don't even know how to text, but they've actually figured out Zoom during this whole thing. So it's crazy.
That's impressive.
My grandma has too. My grandma's been playing games with my mom and Gabe too, and she's like, they're playing something as simple as Uno, and she's like, I don't know how to do this, but she's on with the face chat with them, so it's been really.
I'm pretty sure Uno was like around I don't know, but I think kind of the point there that I see is it's really easy to look at all the negative, but we always have to try to remember to look at the positive too, and the good things that have come out of the situation, in the sense of reconnecting, and our kids can drive us absolutely nuts being home all day, but it's obviously nice to have them home all day too at the same time. So
who knows? Maybe we will actually become teachers by the end of this and realize we can do it. Right now, not so much. We're still struggling, but
maybe Mel, but nothing like Travis. I've seen him play.
You're gonna see them out here longer now. They're gonna homeschool, then they'll be out in the horizon.
If it makes you feel better, it was supposed to be my career, and it only lasted 2 years. So I'm trained. So.
I will say, teaching a public school curriculum as homeschool is totally different.
I bet.
Homeschooling.
So what do you guys do for homeschooling with Clark?
So we do a curriculum called The Good and the Beautiful, and it is spelled out, simple, not 100 books, so it works for a small amount of space. I've seen so many people who they get these curriculums and there's just massive amounts of paperwork and books and your teacher workbook and their school book, but all of this is just compiled into one. So we work out of the same book together, and we really love it. So we do their handwriting, their language arts, and their math. And Clark likes it. I mean, for the most part, right? I mean, kids going to resist education sometimes, but it's fun. She's laughing. We had a rough week last week. It was rough. So
I was like, he's used to this. This is not like the quarantine bug that the kids aren't used to this. He was just having a rough week.
But I do think we don't go this long typically without being with other families who have kids. So that aspect has been hard because he hasn't had
We've been here 4 weeks.
Yeah. So I think there's a bit of socialization with kids that there's some acting out happening, but
I think you're spot on, because even our oldest son, Gabe, the one who's in public school, who's 8, he absolutely loves school, like going to school, and it's really, I think, the social side. Now he's a fanatic about math. Like, he just will do math all day. Hates reading and writing, but loves math. And I mean, he loves going to school all the time. Every day he was excited. He wakes up. I mean, never did he have a day he's like, I don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
But work from home, because he's not getting that social interaction anymore. He's like, oh, I just hate school. You know what I mean? He dreads it every day when we have to do it, and it's just foreign to him too. Not having, he loves his teacher and having that interaction, And
but also, like, his toys are there and all the more fun things to do.
Fortnite.
At home.
I can't believe he hasn't tried to sneak behind us to his laptop.
We have to keep his computer in here so he plays Fortnite. He has his little, for schoolwork, it's just a little cheap computer, and he plays Fortnite on it, but we have to keep it in here so we can watch him, because it's like, Gabe, get off of that game.
Be on it all day.
It's funny.
Minecraft, all day.
But I will say, in regards to the school stuff too, I have to commend the school system for what they have done, and the teachers who have never done this before, and in a week's time they have totally flipped. Like, the first week was a little rough with the virtual classroom thing, and we were like, I don't know if how this is gonna fly, but they've really stepped it up, and it's not overly complicated. We're using Google Classroom, and they just upload the sheet, and he types right in it and draws in it, and it submits, and it's. Well,
I know Texas has some sort of homeschool program, because we've kind of taken it as they're getting older. Can we adjust them to homeschool and not have to be the teacher with all these public platforms that are taking place? And so Texas has had something, but he hadn't qualified for it in the past. But as far as the future, I hope that a lot of states, school districts do see now that they've had to adjust to this, because every school district is pretty much probably closed till the end of the school year. They're making announcements in San Antonio right now about that. So I think they will all realize how possible this is, and it will open up that door for a lot of families who are scared to make that commitment right now.
Right. I know somebody who has done the Texas, I think it's called K-12 or something like that. And they had great success with it. They put 2 kids through school with it. And that's exactly why she picked it. It was ruining their relationship as parents and children. And so they selected to do this program where it was all online. They had a teacher, they signed in and did their courses. And when they were done, And, she could be a mom and not have to do that. But they were able to live where they wanted to, and how they wanted, and travel and that kind of thing. So it's good to have options.
Yeah, for sure.
My twin sister is a 3rd grade teacher, public school teacher. So I also know all of the stuff they're having to do behind the scenes to try and make it work.
I can't imagine. It's talk about a pivot. Wow,
oh, absolutely,
totally crazy. And Paul. Mel does not keep it away from me, so I don't play Fortnite. I despise Fortnite. It's not my game of choice.
Oh, he still plays video games on every chance of his off time. Don't worry. Gabe gets his gaming from his dad.
Why are you gonna embarrass me?
Brandon, get better internet signal so you can entertain Travis, so he stops calling you Brian.
Yeah, I think Brandon's internet here soon. Eric, are you going to join in on the internet games? And Jeannie, are you guys going to join in too?
Oh, I'm not a gamer, so I probably wouldn't. But
I do.
I've heard there's a chat out there that's called the spouses of gamers, or spouses of so they can all talk about us while we're playing.
Right.
Oh man, I need that in my life.
It's kind of like the Target husbands. It's the
Target husbands.
So when we move over to their house, they were getting 266 down the other day. So I think I can play, better than the sporadic either 1 megabyte down or 12 megabytes down every 3 minutes.
Well, dude, it's already been 55 minutes.
Oh,
crazily enough. So,
wow.
You guys want to move into just kind of community questions at this point, and go from there, or how do you want to do? Does that sound good? We'll see if anybody has some specific questions for anybody or the group as a whole, and see what
Yeah,
happens.
and through the power of the internet, it takes about 20 seconds for anybody to actually see.
So let's all just touch our face a lot during that time.
Yeah, if anyone
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I think it should be a game for this video to see how many times everybody touched their face. Like, let's do a.
Mine would be so bad because we turned off the air conditioning because it makes up so much noise. So I'm over here sweating. If you go back and count, you're gonna be like, Kendra lost.
Let's like stare at each other and then talk to each other and try to make each other touch their face. Like there's something crawling on your forehead. Can you feel it? It's right there.
Eric, did you guys get that fly earlier? The one that was
No.
Well, I think we did, but there's another one right there. But
how's your nose feel? It's getting itchy, isn't it?
I think it's an imported one too from Mexico.
Oh no!
They're smuggling flies and toilet paper.
You guys, I think I guess we satisfied everyone with our answers so far.
So they're just tired of listening to us.
Yeah, no question.
They're like, you're all going crazy from being stuck inside.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, when we were talking about fun things to do, I did see Lana say this, and I know half of us on here at least have played with Snap Camera and for meetings, and where you can actually put filters over your face. Yeah.
Almost like you turned yourself into a potato.
Yes.
And she couldn't figure out how to turn it off. And now we all have it installed, and the end of every Xscapers meeting becomes chaos.
We have like 10 minutes of actual meeting and then an hour and a half of everybody turning their
So while the rest of the world has become more productive for remote working, we've become less productive. This is what happened because now we have video games that we put filters that we put on during meetings. Anyway, it sounds like we just goof off all day. But Eileen, sorry. It's farther away on my screen, sorry.
You're blind.
Plus, I can't read. A question about campgrounds to remain open. How are you walking the line between pushing for spots for full-timers versus discouraging casual camping? So a lot of that is on the webpage itself, but just in short terms, we have moved to a monthly only system at our campgrounds for that very reason, to discourage obviously casual camping, because if you're casual camping, you're obviously not going to stay for a month. And our message here, I'm putting this in very brief terms. There's a lot more information on the website, but for casual camping, you're probably not going to stay for a month. And our goal here is to keep people in place, full-timers specifically in place, and have a secure place to stay during the duration of this. So that's the game plan. We are providing overnight parking where we can and when we can for those who just need to get somewhere, not to hang around.
And also we are sharing those policies online and through the advocacy efforts we're making. Our CEO, Sean Loring, has been working with RVIA, RVing, all of those corporations. We're sharing those details that we're doing in hopes that they can spread that awareness to other campgrounds as well, to make sure that they are taking care of the full-time community who don't have a Sticks and Bricks to go to at this time.
Karen also asks, are states responding to the needs of full-timers? I will say that right now it's a very difficult battle. We have educated some. It's one of those battles where we win one and lose one at this point in time. And that's why it's really important for this grassroots campaign and the video that you may have seen that David Goldstein and Brandon kind of help put together and make finalize going around, is to help share that education, get out to the media, and kind of become a known issue that's happening. So step one is to make it known. Until then, it's really hard to educate the masses. So
we've seen some wins, because some states, even when they do a new stay-at-home order, they are showing campgrounds as essential businesses for longer term stays. So if you're there for a month or more,
some are even 14 days, but they're making those policy changes and adding it to there. So there has been some movement on it, which is great.
Yeah, it seems that the messages through Sean talking with the industry leaders behind the scenes and from us and everybody else pushing publicly, that the messages are getting there. It's what was happening at first, and it still happens some, is that people were just blanket, that's all hotels and campgrounds are all tourists, so let's just shut it all down. And it's like, hey, wait a minute, we're here. So
that's the biggest thing. The biggest hurdle is educating that, hey, we're not all just vacationers, weekenders here just out looking to go party on spring break. There's a lot of RVers who are living this lifestyle as their lifestyle. So
what you're saying, Brandon, is true. A lot of people don't realize that, and so once you educate them and they realize that that's an issue people are facing, then they will make those changes. And it's just bringing it to light, which is why what we're saying, the grassroots is just very important to bring awareness to the issue.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely think actually the RV park here that we're at, there was a big advocacy from him. There's also a pretty popular hotel in town that they were really pressing the sheriff's department of the county to say, look, you really have to reevaluate some people who stay here long term because of working contracts as well as full-time RVers. And that's when they put in place, if you've been in this county stayed in either the hotel or wherever, but for 14 days or longer, and you're showing no signs of any kind of virus, then you can stay. But it was initially everybody out, and there was some advocacy just from some of the campground owners to push to say, hey, like even in a small rural community, they had a little bit more of a voice to push that.
I mean, the hotel in town did actually have to close. He's not real happy about it, but
the full-time RVers got to stay that.
That's great.
Yeah,
it's a hard. I mean, it's hard for both sides, and like I said, it's a lot of education, but also at the same time, these legislators are getting slammed from every direction and angle right now, and it's just one of those. It's a
keep pushing.
Yeah, very new and hard situation to try to get under control, it seems. So, But with that being said, potato does rule them all.
Potato forever.
I feel like we should end this, Brandon, with you doing the potato thing or something.
I would.
People know what we're talking about.
Yeah, the last few times we've done it, it's like almost crashed my computer. And I guess I could end with it, but I don't even have it turned on right now because I was afraid of, crashing the feed.
Since we're hosting the feed. Right.
Yeah. But let's see if I can get it on. Debbie did ask what software we're using, and I wasn't sure if she's talking about SnapCam or what we're actually doing right now. So what we're doing right now is called Be Live, and it works through Facebook. But SnapCam is the one that makes you into a potato.
Or a lot of other things.
Yeah. Well, while you're doing that, I just want to give a big thank you to Amanda, Kendra, Eric, Jeannie, Brandon, Krenza, Carrie, and Georgianne in the background helping us out. Everybody who has jumped on to make this virtual campfire successful. We appreciate you guys.
Yes.
Absolutely. And virtual hugs. We can't do real hugs, but we can do virtual hugs.
The biggest hug for Brandon.
For Brandon.
This was a lot of fun. I hope the community learned something.
All right. Wrong camera. Wrong camera. Oh, we're on the matzo cam. We'll do matzo ball.
It's over today. So we're matzo ball.
Yeah.
This again.
And
yeah.
It's a potato.
There's the
Yeah.
all right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah. Everybody stay
Stay
safe,
safe.
healthy.
We miss you. We look forward to seeing you.
Thanks for joining us.
All right. I'm going to make it up, Brandon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Now.